The following marketing information and discussion is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as professional guidance or consultancy. You should find an agency for that. eMarketer is a digital marketing agency, so feel free to hire us. But otherwise, just enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Buyer's Journey by eMarketer, a discussion-based podcast on the ever-changing marketing landscape. I'm Matthew McGrady, the social media content producer here at eMarketer.
I am Len Ward, the managing partner at eMarketer.
I'm Josh Lyons, the digital marketing coordinator here at eMarketer.
So today we are talking about an eMarketer report that just came out the other day, focused on the digital life of U.S. teens. So we've talked a lot, we did a whole episode on parents and their sort of digital marketing, well, not digital marketing, but their digital life and how marketing can be more effectively targeted based on some of the numbers we have. And now we have a similar report for U.S. teens. In particular, some of the questions were asked, for example, like how many teens own smartphones? And the estimate is that about 8 in 10 in the 12 to 17 age bracket have their own smartphones. And it's by far the device that teens use most, which I don't think is surprising to most of anyone.
Question for you.
Go ahead, Josh.
When did you get your first phone?
When did I get my first phone? I was probably 13 and I got like a little flip phone.
Yeah, I think I was like 15 and I got like the Razor or whatever it was. So like 12.
When did you get your first cell phone?
I got it in 1995.
Was that one of the big bulky boys?
It was with the bulky Motorola with the big, flip. It wasn't the big black one.
Oh, okay.
It was like a small. It was like a half gray brick Motorola that you flipped.
Did you have to pull an antenna out or anything?
Yeah, pull an antenna out.
Nice.
It was horrible. It was literally like $350 a month. I'm like working my ass off just to pay for the phone. And then I got a Nokia like a year later. That's when it got real small, and that's when the game Snake came out and got real famous. But so yeah, 1994. I'm telling you, I look back now. I'm like, I don't know how anyone could function without a phone right now. Like even me. I mean, I'm 46. I'm like, oh, I would die without it.
So eMarketer estimates that 81.1% of 12 to 17-year-olds will also be smartphone owners this year, and the number continues to edge upward. They expect penetration for this age group to reach 85% in 2022. In addition, they mentioned that the app categories on their phone sort of skew more towards fun and games usage and less utilitarian functions, which I think, again, most people kind of would expect that. About 7 in 10 of those 12 to 17 age group children use social networks, though many still use Facebook, 45.9% this year by eMarketer's estimate. It has been eclipsed by Instagram and Snapchat, and since those latter two platforms surged among teens, no other social network has established a mass-scale presence in that age group. We have, I'm going to skip ahead real fast. Which social media platform, there's this nice little chart, which social media platform do U.S. teens use the most? So 51% are using Snapchat the most, followed by Instagram at 27%, Facebook at 19%, Twitter at 3%, and other social media platforms at 1%. I think there's a lot of reasons why Snapchat is so popular in the younger crowd. eMarketer suggests that it might be popular because parents don't really go on it. Len, obviously being the exception, talking to his kids on Snapchat as often as possible.
I do. I just changed my whole, Bitmoji to the Phillies thing.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh, that cutting edge.
Len's using Snapchat better than I am. I don't think I've ever set one up. There's also numbers on teens being digital video viewers. Their estimates peg penetration for this year at 93.4% among 12 to 17s. Not really surprising. More than 80% of them use YouTube, which about 2/3 do so daily, according to one survey. And then Pew Research Center polling of teens in March and April 2018, 95% of 13 to 7-year-olds report having their own smartphone or access to one, and there was virtually no variation by race and ethnicity, nor is there significant difference in penetration along the lines of household income. Common Sense Media found 88% of teens in lower income families had a smartphone, as did 87% in middle income and 92% in upper income families. Let me flip my page Would you like to add a comment to that? Because
I don't even know if you've read. I just look. I was flipping through this. I'll let you read the more. Where are you at? I jumped ahead.
I'm at when November 2017 polling by Inmar asked 13 to 19-year-olds to say which device they use most often. 80% cited a smartphone, which, as we mentioned before, makes sense. Research by Verto Analytics in H1 2018 found 13 to 17-year-olds averaging 85 hours a month using their smartphones. Wow. And smartphone usage accounted for 62% of teens' total mobile and desktop/laptop time versus 41% of adults total. So there's this little chart that I actually do want to talk about very briefly. It's how much time do U.S. teens versus adults spend on desktop/laptop and smartphones. So for mobile, for teens, it was 85, and for adults, it was 75. For desktop/laptop and mobile, teens, it was 138, and adults, 181. I think what's important to mention here in these numbers is obviously adults are probably going to be on desktops and laptops more often because many jobs require you to be on a desktop or a laptop for work. I'm probably on a laptop, on a computer rather, in general, 14 to 16 hours a day or more. Because, of course, we work in digital marketing. We need to do things on computers. Makes sense. And then so this is actually really interesting. Some of teens' usage occurs when they should be doing something more essential, which is sleeping. In April 2018, polling of 13 to 18-year-olds by Screen Education, 80% said they, quote, typically spend time on their phone after they go to bed. Among these nocturnal users, 22% reported spending 2 or more hours on their phones before going to sleep. 18% reported spending 1 or 2 hours. It also impinges on the attention that they give to their homework. Quote, they are checking their phones on an average of 9 times an hour while they do homework, so that's a huge hit to productivity. I remember when I did that when I was young as well. In addition, texting is the number 1 in terms of favorite ways for teens to communicate. However, most of the time what's actually being texted is pictures and not actually any actual text, so a bit of a misnomer there, but I mean, as we can see from Snapchat being such a favored app, it makes sense that they'd be sending more pictures than anything else. And again, nearly all U.S. teens are digital video viewers. We estimate, eMarketer estimates that 3.4% of 12 to 17s will be in this category this year. They also mentioned that polling in November 2017 found respondents ages 14 to 20 averaged 22 hours a week watching streaming video, the most of any age group in the survey. YouTube is a big part of this. Pew's polling said 13 to 17-year-olds identified 89% of boys and 81% of girls as YouTube viewers. Netflix accounted for an average of 39% of teens' digital viewing in H1 2018, and 90.2% of 12 to 17-year-olds will be viewers of non-digital TV this year, though I believe the percentage is way less than the other ones. Let me find it. 15 to 19s averaging 2 hours a day watching TV in 2017, and it's supposed to go down to 106 minutes, and then it will decline by 2020 to about 86 minutes a day. So teens are also still watching TV, but significantly less of it over the span of time.
Only watching that because maybe they're walking by and their parents are watching it and they sit down for a minute. It's reducing. The numbers to pull out of here that I think are ones that are really telltale is, obviously the amount of time. Snapchat, far and away, is if you are marketing to parents, to children, you have to start building the ambassador, the one that's going to be the advocate for you, which will be the kids on the product they want. You need to be on Snapchat. That's clear. And if you're not there now, it needs to be a 2020 initiative for you. What I find amazing, though, is what you're saying on this one stat. Nearly all U.S. teens are digital video viewers. They estimate 93.4% of 12 to 17 fall in that category. And 14 to 20-year-olds averaging 22 hours a week watching streaming video. And then you got 89% of boys, 81% of girls are watching YouTube video. You're really seeing the end of almost the text content. It's not in the form that we're all used to digesting. Even you guys, when you were younger, reading books and things like that. It's amazing as you're looking at marketing, you really have to start thinking about how you're going to be marketing in the next 18 to 24 months, where video has to lead the way. And these kids are moving into when you're selling me somebody 20 years old, you have an individual where you have Jenny going to college, graduates next year. She's moving into the buying public now. She's going to be a consumer. So how are you reaching her? If you're trying to reach her on Facebook, Jenny's not there. Jenny's on Snapchat, Jenny's on Instagram.
And that's exactly the point that I mentioned to Matt, and I'm curious to get your opinion on it, where So like obviously now where the buying power is and just how digital marketing is in general, everything is so centered towards like Facebook and Instagram.
Sure.
But because this 12, or was it 13 to 17,
It's
12 to 17?
12 to 17, but depending, so sometimes it's 12 to 17, sometimes it's
12
13
to 20.
18.
12 to
yeah,
20.
let's just,
We'll say 12
yeah,
to 20.
That's fair.
So if the 12 to 20 year olds are 51%, right? 51% using Snapchat the most, with Instagram behind it at 27%. What happens when the 12 to 20 year old becomes the 21 to 40 year old? Will digital marketing change in a way where Snapchat's going to drastically overtake what Facebook is and will become the new Facebook in digital marketing? Because if the small power right now with the young kids are using it so much, how long until Snapchat really makes that huge jump while they started building a business manager or like an ad platform? When will that sort of take the big jump to even surpass Instagram and then even Facebook down the line, if that's even possible?
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, it's going to happen. And then, by the way, there's also the devil in the details, which is there's going to be 3 or 4 other products that are going to roll out or platforms that'll overtake all of them. But soon, if you go look at the stock price of Snapchat, it dipped down to about $8 and change. Now it's up. I think last I checked, it's close to $15. So. Yeah, I told you guys to buy it, didn't I? So what you're beginning to see is that as advertisers are like, especially advertisers where if you start looking at like Mountain Dew, Doritos, Coke, things like that, if you start identifying that they're seeing, this is where the money is right now, and they're going to start pumping more and more ad dollars in there, Snapchat's going to start showing consistent revenue, which is exactly what which is exactly what Wall Street's looking for. The reasons Facebook and people are going to Facebook and going to Google, number one, we know that's where everybody is, but number two, there's just a constant return on investment. Snapchat now, you're telling me 51%. If you're going in with the understanding that you're just building brand awareness and you're developing ambassadors for your brand so they can go to mom or dad, hey, purchase this product, or you're getting Jenny ready for when she does graduate college, has a few bucks in her pocket to become, go buy whatever, some sort of, sunblock or something like that. If you understand that's the power of Snapchat, that's how the platforms start. Right. And become powerful, like Facebook did years ago, and Instagram, it was, it's just building your brand. Now you can purchase through Facebook and Instagram, which now makes it a whole different monster. So Snapchat is probably on that doorstep. So to answer your question, within the next 18 months, I would think all of these companies have a problem in their hands. Now, if I'm correct, I think Google or Facebook tried to buy Snapchat and they said no. So the question, and I'm pretty sure about that, I think they offered them something like $1 billion and they said no. And I think they tried to buy it before Instagram, as a matter of fact. And that's why they got Instagram. Instagram is always going to be the thorn in the side of Snapchat. Right. The question is, does Snapchat become its own entity and you're advertising and you do well there, or does somebody come in and buy them out? That's a Wall Street question. We won't deal with that. But I think if you're targeting mom, dad, or you're targeting one of the kids, and if you're telling me 51% of the people are there, your ad dollars got to start going on Snapchat. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think when I think of, what is the future of social media usage, and when we talk about the comparison of Facebook and Snapchat, I completely agree with Len in terms of ad dollars and things like that. But I think what Snapchat needs to do, and I think what we're seeing them starting to do, is find ways to make the Snapchat platform more than just effectively a direct messaging app with some story features that Instagram has and things like that, because that is how you get people to not only be on your site, but also more on your app in this case, but also get people to stay on it, get people to do other things on there where you can inject ads into it. I mean, we're seeing it with Snapchat games that they're adding and things like that. But I think the thing when we talk about Facebook is Facebook has their huge timeline. You can go through, you're going to see ads. You're not normally just going on Facebook to talk to people.
It's way more robust. And we'll probably pull another report. I just read that they're trying to institute an entire news tab on there now, where they're actually going to pay publishers to go on and do the news. And I think Mark Zuckerberg, if I read it this morning, made a comment like the amount of users that they're going to add just for people who want to come watch the news. Maybe they have no interest on going to Facebook. That's a whole other thing. So I don't necessarily see Snapchat overtaking Facebook in the next 5 years because it's just so robust in me at 46, who's in the prime time buying of my generation's lifestyle. We're ingrained on Facebook.
Exactly.
I only do Snap because of my kids.
But that was my only question. Well, that was like the general idea was when So like, because when we were growing up, or even when we were growing up, like we were using Facebook and Instagram all the time. But what happens in the next generation, where when growing up they use Snapchat so much, when they are in the 20 to even 50 range, will Snapchat sort of make it to that level where Facebook will die off, because everyone that used Facebook so much is now, washed away, and everyone that's at the 12 to 20-year-old range, they're barely using Facebook now.
In 30 years, when everyone's dead.
No, but you make a good point. So you want to start looking at the numbers. So when you're telling me when will they start overtaking it, that's why I went back and looked at those numbers. When it said nearly all U.S. teens are digital video viewers. Right. Snapchat is a very heavy video viewing based platform, okay, and Facebook is more of a read it type thing, image. Yes, it's heavy on video. I know it's doing great on that, but you're saying when's it happening? It's happening with this generation coming up, where this is how they digest content. Right. Quick hit, fast video on Snapchat, where Facebook is not really doing that. All they're doing it with Instagram. So how do they pivot themselves to embrace, this youthful generation? I don't know if they can.
And that's why I think they need to invest more, as they're doing now, in making their platform more expansive, more things to do on there. Because on Facebook you have
Snapchat, you mean?
Yeah, because
they need to.
Because Snapchat is, at its core, it is basically a one-to-one communication machine. You can do that on Facebook, but when I think of what do people use Facebook for, they go on to hopefully see posts from their friends and their family, whatever, and also to message. If you're on Snapchat, you're probably using it specifically to talk to your friends, right? And I mean, I think they obviously have two different end goals and things like that. Obviously, Snapchat wants you to stay on as long as possible with quick hit content. Facebook also does that, but you have people like you and me, Josh, who maybe don't use Facebook as often, but we like to stay connected to our friends and family and their life events, which you can kind of get in the small, intimate terms on Snapchat, but you don't get the long-standing, like, I get to see every image from my niece's birth to being 9 years old on Facebook because my sister took them all, and they're all there.
Well, yeah,
Snapchat doesn't give you that.
Right. I have a perfect example. I go on Facebook, I don't know, maybe like 30 to 45 minutes a day, because I'm not on it as much as the other platforms.
And you go on Twitter 40 hours a day.
Yeah, we already discussed this. But I noticed I saw on Facebook, it was like 2 weeks ago, that someone that I was very close with in middle school and early high school, he just got engaged to the girlfriend that he had when we were in middle school, early high school. So it was cool, where like I literally haven't thought of the kid in 8 to 10 years. We were friends when we were younger. I just went on Facebook one day to check on the feed, and I saw, like, first time I've even heard his name and saw his name in this long, and I saw that he got engaged, and it was cool to see.
That's what's great about Facebook.
I was able to message them. I said congrats, and they were like, oh, look, awesome, we should catch up, talk. So now I'm talking to him again. We might meet up sometime, and our 5-year high school reunion is coming up in the next 6 months, so we'll be able to go see each other. So it was a cool like experience, where like that's like what you said, that's what makes Facebook so great. Or Snapchat, it's very, one-to-one, or you're an influencer and you're using the other feature, the Explore feature.
To give you the difference, so yours is in 6 months?
Something like that.
5 year?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 6 months, my 30 year is coming up. So just give you the vast
age
difference in ages in this podcast.
I can't say anything because mine was 2018 sometime or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. My one buddy, his sister was on like the executive board in high school, so she's the one that runs it.
You do like 5 to maybe 10 years. You have
exactly.
To really
I definitely want to go to the 5.
I didn't do 5. I don't know if there was one for 5.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Facebook. Facebook killed reunions. It was funny. My mom said years ago, and she's on it, but she made a comment about, was my mom who said that? Sometimes people in high school and things like that, you don't really need to know what they're doing anymore. And that was great about their generation. Like, now you get to see what everybody's doing.
It's the reason why I'm interested in the 5 is that you sort of had that, you either like someone or you didn't like someone in high school. Everyone went off
matured.
Everyone went off to college, and it's like, okay, now everyone went to school or went off and got work, and it's 5 years later. Where are they in life now, to see where they're at? And then maybe after the 5 years, doesn't matter that much, but there's a lot of people you've talked to that you haven't talked to in a while that would be cool to see where they are in life now, post like, a really interesting phase of your life where you're just learning and trying to figure out what you're doing with your life. So
enjoy it. Say you're only 5 years away from high school is staggering.
I'm going to do what my sister did, which is find people who I actually want to see and maybe do that for the 10-year anniversary instead. So
Yeah.
that's
That's a good idea.
A big thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's all for today's episode of The Buyer's Journey. Check us out at Comexis.com, YouTube, anywhere you can get your podcasts, and please follow us on Twitter at buyers_journey. Also have a fantastic 4th of July weekend. We won't be having any more shows this week in celebration, though check us out tomorrow because we will be having a nice special video for 4th of July based on New Coke and some of the Stranger Things 3 marketing. So definitely check that out if you are interested. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in.